Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. We have two 40% alcohol white rums, silver rums, clear rums from the Caribbean, both bottled in the United States of America. Now, this is Palo Viejo. And it was introduced, there it is clearing up. See that old trait? Palo Viejo, old wood. It was introduced in 1906. And there's some medals that it probably never won, but anyway, it's produced in Puerto Rico, Ron de Puerto Rico, as it says, Puerto Rico. And apparently it's pretty popular down there, maybe with the older crowd, the retirement age crowd, but whatever, that's a big market. So I have seen the gold, but I did not buy it. Would like to buy it. Now, I might have seen the gold on a road trip somewhere 500 miles. You see, I don't see this in Louisiana, but I did buy this in Louisiana. Tell you a little story about it. I had seen that there was a place in Baton Rouge called the Liquor Store. The Liquor Store. Simple name, right? So I went there twice, I think. Yeah. But the first time I went there was about 4 years ago. It's on United States Highway 190 business route, westbound. You got to get on the business routes. If you get on the regular 190, you're not going to see it. Just where it says business route, follow that. United States Highway 190 business, eastbound. So you got to be on the south side or the eastbound side of the highway. You'll see it. And it's got a big sign, the liquor store. It's pretty popular. It's been there a long time, apparently. And I went in there, I'm looking around. And I saw this for $6.99 a liter. I said, I don't know if it's any good, but for that price, I'm going to find out. Okay, I'll be right back. Anyway, so it's one of those things where you just see it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not looking for it. It's just there. But you figure, well, I know if I don't buy it, I'll never see it again. And that was the case. So it's a weird label, though, because it's like gold and black, but yet it's the white label. And it's got a silver cap. Did you see how it's silver around there? It's almost like they put the wrong label on it. You know what I mean? Like they were supposed to put the silver and they put gold, but it's silver inside. But on the back it says white. Maybe the back label's correct. I don't know. It's very bizarre. Usually these things would have like a consistent color, right? Like silver, 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 silver trim, right? Not all of this gold and all of a sudden a silver cap and it's called white. So that's rather bizarre. Maybe that's why it was $6.99. Maybe they realized it was mislabeled as far as that, and they just sold them cheap. But I doubt that was the reason. They probably never noticed. But I'm gonna be on the lookout. If I ever see this product again, I'm gonna see if it has gold on a silver tequila and silver on a gold tequila. But I think it's a mistake. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I found it, and like I say, probably not going to see it again. Okay, so that's over there, $6.99 liter, true story. Here's the competitor, this is actually the control group. This is the one I've been going up against everything with. It's called Boquerón Caribbean Silver Rum. And this is definitely another stumble upon product. You see the rope? It's got a rope tied around the neck and tied off, tucked under and tied real tight. It's got a wooden cap. Definitely a stumble upon. I was at Rouse's, southeastern Gulf Coast Gulf Coast of the United States grocery chain. And I can assure you I was not looking for a rum of any sort. But I turned back around and I saw this on a stack with a sign that said $7.99. Come on, focus, baby. Well, now I read the labeling and I said, I'm sure there's no company called Boquerón rum in the United States, said bottled in Texas. I said, I bet it's owned by somebody else. So, of course, I bought the bottle and I did my research, and sure enough, it is owned by somebody called Iron Wolf Ranch and Farm. On the back of the bottle, it says bottled by Boquerón Rum Company, but that's not a real company. It's Iron Wolf. There we go. Focus. There we go. Iron Wolf Ranch and Farm. So I'm thinking, man, this could taste terrible for $7.99. On the other hand, it might taste pretty good, so I'm going to take the risk. Because with that kind of price point, are you really taking a risk? I mean, what kind of risk are you taking? So when I see those kind of things, man, I just go for it. All right. No, I want this setting, and it's a little too bright. That should work. Okay, not used to these lamps. Okay, Boquerón Silver. Well, I'm already halfway through the bottle, just on taste, one solo review and then taste challenges. I know you're probably thinking you're lying, you're cheating, you're drinking it all during the day. No, I'm not. But I have so many different white, clear, silver rums that just doing the taste challenges is bringing it down. It's just reducing the level. Now, when we look at this bottle of Palo Viejo Old Wood, perfect. Usually I never get it even. I have to sit there and adjust. It's so irritating. If we look at this bottle carefully, it's the same exact bottle design as Old Granddad bottle in bottle, Old Overhauled, Beams 8-star, and I know some other products. Can't think of them right now. That is a Jim Beam bottle, and Deerfield, Illinois, is a Jim Beam bottling plant. I got to do some research on that plant. I know there's some articles about it. So yeah, I think it's bottled by Jim Beam. Now, do they own the distillery in Puerto Rico? This I don't know. It could be actually independently owned. Barcelo Marcus and company might have their own company, and they just make it a deal with Jim Beam to distribute this stuff. Bring their stuff into the United States because they got the money. And Beam is probably like Heaven Hill. As long as we get in a cut and a decent cut of the action, we don't care. Like 100 Piper's Scotch, that's made by Chivas Brothers, but in the United States, it's bottled by Heaven Hill and it's listed as one of their brands. But I know Chivas Brothers owns 100 Pipers, and in fact, around the world, it's sold as Seagram's 100 Pipers, 100 Pipers. But in the United States, the Seagram's name is not on the label, and that's strange. So maybe this bottle is gold all the time, and they just put a silver label on the white rum, and they put a silver cap on the white rum and a gold cap on the gold rum. But that's weird. That's really weird. Okay. And I tried to do research on Barcelo Marcus, and they gave addresses like some street in Puerto Rico and all, but as far as finding a distillery and any kind of information, nah, couldn't find anything. Except just people saying, yeah, it's an old distiller. That's really, I couldn't find any information. I like to give good information, but I can't give it if I can't find it. And I'm usually pretty good at finding stuff. And I'd give you a website link, but I couldn't find that. And that's oftentimes a problem. So with beer, wine, or liquor, especially liquor, but sometimes beer and occasionally wine. Not too much for wine so far. I've usually found website links, but notoriously bad for liquor and kind of bad for beer, more than you would think. Okay, why do these companies not acknowledge their products if they produce them? This I don't know. Why wouldn't they make a website for it, try to promote it? I don't know. I guess they figure, well, they might figure, well, we pay $72 a month to maintain the website, but if we don't advertise, we could save $72, and that's just more money that we could spend on other parts of Cult 45. For instance. Yeah, there's still a website for Code 45, but it's so comical. There's nothing on it. Like if you go to the website, there's nothing there, but there's one YouTube video from years ago, some people rapping about Code 45. There's no information on the beer. There's no, it says shop where you can shop for gear and apparel. It doesn't work. I said, man, no company is like Pabst in that bad extent, to that bad extent, like, so negligent about their online presence. Pabst is probably thinking, no one cares about the internet. Who gets online these days? Smartphones, that's a fad. No one cares. Maybe they're right, but I don't get that impression that they're right. Okay. It's funny because when I sent a letter to them years ago, over 20 years ago, could you send me a brochure about your beers? They said in reply, oh, just look it up on the internet. Look up our website. That's what it said. It's like, okay. But when I wrote a letter to Anheuser-Busch, to Miller, to Stroh's, and to Coors Brewing back in the late 1990s, early 2000s, it must have been like 99, 98, 90. Each of those companies sent me a real thick packets in the mail of all kind of literature, history of their products. Some like Stroh's sent me a history of each beer. So did Miller, each beer. And all the stats. So I was like, well, see, they care, Now, I will give Pabst credit. One time I sent them an email saying, I do like Pabst Blue Ribbon. It has a good flavor or something like that. Just like a nothing email. And they said, oh, you like our beer? I guess they couldn't believe somebody sent them a message like that. So about a week later, I got a big package in the mail with a T-shirt, that bumper sticker back there. Got 2 of those. Like a keychain opener, decals. Oh, a cap, Pabst Blue Ribbon cap. I was like, well, that's one way of doing it, I guess. Okay, I still have the shirt and the cap and the decals and the bumper. But I really wasn't looking to get swag. I really wanted a brochure, something with information about the products. The apparel was fine, and I appreciated it, but it wasn't what I was asking for. Butch Willie says, that's nice. Maybe I should email. Well, yeah, but that was over 20 years ago, so I don't know what they might just tell you get lost now. But they might send something. I remember one time Lone Star, which is owned by Pabst, which is Pabst. It's not a separate company, really, honestly. But they contacted me watching my videos, and they were like, oh, that's not correct. That video is wrong. I said, what do you mean? Oh, well, something like, I don't know, something about the packaging. Like, we do sell it in those kind of bottles. And then they said, and we have a new label. That label you're showing is an old label. They told me that label's old. So I just bought the beer a week ago. Well, the label's old, they said. I said, okay. And they would say, give us your address. And I gave it to them. And then I said, I don't know if are these guys for real, Sure enough, got all kind of decals in the mail. Oh, I know what they wanted. They wanted to send me a bottle of Lone Star and Lone Star Light so I could review the beer in the current label. I don't know why they wanted to do that. So they sent me a package with all that stuff, not a hat and a shirt, unfortunately, but other things, and then a bottle of Lone Star and a bottle of Lone Star Light. And they said, our only demand is that you do, or our only request is that you make videos with each. I said, well, okay, be glad to. And then I did it, so They got people watching, man. A lady who owns a liquor company, who owns a brand, contacted me. Said, keep making those good videos about my product. Well, she said, my baby, my wife's work is what she called it. A brandy. And I don't make the videos because I want contact from the owners. I just made the video because I found a bottle on the shelf. And she was so glad I was saying nice things about her product. I said nice things because it tasted good. If it had tasted bad, I wouldn't have said anything nice. I would have said, like, man, it tastes bad. But I never bought a brandy that tastes bad. Well, I bought one that was close. Hartley. Yikes, that was scary. But that Hartley VS, that was scary. That was a scary product. But they don't make it anymore. To my knowledge, it looks like they only make the VSOP. And they dropped the regular Hartley with the no designation. Just it was called Hartley Brandy. I don't see that anymore. But that thing was a mess. That was a mess. But really, I usually just they good, various levels of good. But Paul Cardenas says, where can I get me some of that Viejo white? Well, that's a great question, and I have no kind of answer. Because like I said, I stumbled upon it at the liquor store in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I never saw it again. I think on a road trip somewhere, and this was, I don't know what year it was. I could have been in Miami, Florida. I could have been in, I'm telling you, I don't know, San Antonio, Texas, or I could have been as close as Mississippi. I'm just telling you, I don't know. I saw there's like a big bottle of the gold, like a handle, and I was like, oh, I don't really want to get a handle. Or maybe I had a dream about it. Like that's how faded my memory is of it. I don't even, it's like, well, but that shows you the level of their distribution. That's the level. For at least my viewpoint. You might say, well, forget you. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we get it everywhere. Every store's got Palo Viejo. Are you cracked? What's wrong with you? I mean, we don't get it here. Okay. I wish we did because it tastes good and it's cheap, or it was. All right. It smells like a dry rum. What do I mean by that? Doesn't have much smell. Like those dry rums, it'd be like stark. Like, just like nothing. Kind of like vodka, just like nothing there. Nothing to see, folks. Move along, that kind of thing. Can't say it has a bad aroma because it doesn't have any aroma. Okay, I mean, there might be a scintilla of like some cane sugar base, something, but it's so minimal. It's like 98% no smell and 2% smell, so forget it. Forget about it. Okay, let's go to this, man. See, this has more like yeast. Like if you went to a distillery and you could smell all that stuff cooking and gurgling and bubbling and fermenting and fomenting and and dementing, coagulating, you know what I'm saying? Like processing, or if you live in Canada, processing. Yeah, more there. All right, taste time though, really, for real. No, I mean, that Barbie movie is feminist propaganda, Ron, says FD. Well, that sounds like the normal thing that we see every day. So why would I want to go see a movie that is something I see on TV every day? A, I wouldn't want to go see a movie, period. And B, I definitely don't want to go see that, which I could just watch The View or well, these other shows they're all on in the afternoon where they all sit around and agree with each other, like, oh, right. I'm like, man, they have no dissenting opinions because they can't handle dissenting opinions or even understand them. I would go on those shows, but they would kick me off, but I wouldn't care because I would still state the truth. Jay, on one of your videos, Jason Cleveland was saying this, Jay, on one of your videos, you mentioned neighborhood bars in New Orleans. Do people turn their homes into bars or were they established? I never heard of somebody turning their home into a bar because there's zoning laws in the city and like I guess all of Louisiana parishes, and it would have to be zoned for a bar. So like they're usually on the corner, or it could be on the street where all the businesses are zoned for commercial. Yeah, so I never heard that turning a home into a bar, but They had some houses that were turned into restaurants, but then that whole section was rezoned. You see, from residential to commercial. So, but yeah, no, it's not really. I don't think too common. No. FD says, meanwhile, they make J. Robert Oppenheimer a hero in the new movie. Man, was far from that. Yeah, well, I mean, think about who's making the movie, right? So that should tell you a whole lot. And secondly, they made Elia Kazan out to be a villain because he ratted on. Remember they said he ratted everybody out. But who did he rat out? Oh well, people that were members of the Communist Party that he worked with. He named names. He named names. Well, yeah, because he was a communist, and then he broke away from that movement and said that movement is a deception, and I was tricked, and I should have never joined that, and they're bad. And I'm going to name names because I want to rat these people out. So he was. Remember when he got an award at the Academy Awards Lifetime Achievement Award about 25 years ago? All these virtue signalers stood up and turned their backs to him and walked out. He named names. Well, yeah. Now you see, but they have like specific morality. Okay, naming names of communist infiltrators is a mortal sin in the world of Hollywood. That's the worst thing you could do, except for deny certain details of World War II, for instance. Uh, but you would have been the greatest hero in Hollywood if you had named names of National Socialist German infiltrators in the U.S. government. And fair thing to do. Any foreign infiltrators, whether they work for the German government, the Soviet government, or the Israeli government, for instance, spying on the United States, that's an honorable thing. Rat them out. They shouldn't be spying. Although, you say, well, the United States does. I know, I didn't say they didn't. I'm just saying that's how that works. But so you see, you got to watch Hollywood morality. If you name names of National Socialist German supporters during World War II, you're a great hero. They probably want to make a monument to you. And there were some of those in Hollywood back in those days, like about 4 of them. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe they weren't that many people. 4 is a lot. And then they had a few Soviet supporters, like 4,000, But anyway, so you see how it works. I'm on to these people. I know I've been on to these people since I was a teenager. Now I would watch. FD says, now I would watch The View with you as a guest. They would all gang up on you, but you would give it back to them. Yeah, I would not be intimidated, and then they would probably mute me and then take me off before I could, because A, I wouldn't back down, and B, I wouldn't lose. See, so that's why I'm not going to go on the show. A, I'm not going to back down, and B, I'm not going to lose. So they don't let people like that come on the show. Cheers to. Okay, so they're giving each other comments. Charlie Sheen. I don't know why you mentioned him, but yeah. Have you ever seen The Boys Next Door from 1985? Charlie Sheen. I know. I told you I don't really watch movies. So one place Barbie isn't shown is China. No feminist propaganda there, but yet Hollywood will bow to them. They actually kowtow to them. Yeah. Well, they're probably all financed by them. Plus, they might have gone to some of their pleasure domes over there in Asia, and maybe there's some compromising video footage that the Chinese government could perhaps use against them. Well, they ain't sending you to the island just to be your friend. Ask Senator Geary about that. All right, on with the show. So, yeah. I remember Rush Limbaugh was never the same after he went to the Lincoln bedroom in the White House. He was like a different person. He was like, I was like, what happened? It's like a different show, different emphasis. That was back in '92. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely all for the establishment. Where did you get the idea I was anti-establishment? Oh, I was just kidding around. Yeah. I'm part of the crew. I'm part of the machine, baby. And it was after that visit. Okay, well, so aroma, ain't too much happening there. Let's go with the taste, Chuz. Oh, well, I thought it smelled like a dry rum, and I thought wrong. Oh, well, let me tell you this right here, live on the internet. This is sugary sweet, much like a cake frosting, or if you want to call it cake icing, because if you go to the grocery store, they call it both on the same aisle. Sugar cream. It's like a cream sugar puree. If you don't like sugar and you don't like sweetness, never buy this because you're guaranteed to hate it. It might rot your teeth out. Cheers, Louisiana Liquor Reviews. I enjoy watching Senator Kennedy from Louisiana. What's your opinion of him, says Tommy. Well, I mean, he talks a good show, and he's got that like homespun, like kind of, you know what I'm saying, old folksy, I ain't never met a man I didn't like kind of thing, kind of act. And that's fine, because I put on acts. I'm an actor, actually. I'm not an actor. I'm just kidding. I'm not an actor, but I play one on TV. But he sometimes you got to watch these kind of people because you say, I always wonder, man, if these people might have some kind of liberal undercurrent. Well, if you ever wonder that, that means they do. You know what I mean? Because if there's ever any question about it, then the answer is going to always be yes. I've learned that over the years. but but I'm cool. I'm not against him yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I like his style, but but is always the most important part of the sentence. What comes after the but? Okay. So people in Louisiana are kind of like that. They're like, yeah, that guy, he seems okay, but you never know about him. This one is rather dry. Hello, everyone. I hope y'all are doing well, says Scoggett. Scoggett. We're doing great. Okay, we hope. This one's very dry, and that's the main frame here. It's like a mixer rum, and I mean because it is so dry, it is almost some of these really super dry rums. They're made for mixing because they just almost like a vodka, like no real aroma, no real flavor, just like straight clean. I'm not saying bad. It's just like straight up and down the line, super clean, mixable. See, and I think if you went to Puerto Rico and saw all these older guys drinking Barcelo, not Barcelo, Palo Viejo. I got Barcelo, but Palo Viejo. They would probably be mixing it with stuff, like whatever Puerto Rican cocktails, sipping on that while they're playing dominoes, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. I have said in the past, I'm not interested in cocktails or highballs or any kind of mixed drinks, but I'm not against them. If you want to drink that, that is super fine. It doesn't make you more or less of a whiskey liquor connoisseur. It's just what you want to do. It's not my thing, though. Joe Cobb says, "Hey Ron, hoping you're oh, you mean you are apostrophe are you? I hope you are having a great day getting the brakes done on my Volkswagen 2,000-kilometer drive from Nova Scotia to Ontario, where wore them out." Yeah, I know about those brake jobs. So safety first, right? Yeah. Craig Swinson says, "I've said it before and I'll say it again. Thank you, Ron, for your contribution to the YouTube community." Oh, and you're welcome. And I thank you for your support. That's the most important thing. I think Ron is the best beer liquor review channel on YouTube, says FD. And I agree with that. but I'm just, that's coming from my my natural humility. I wanted to get a billboard made saying I'm humble and I'm the first to admit it, but I didn't get around to. Yes, so, but I am a humble person and I'm the first to admit it. And I talk about it 12, 26 hours a day. And I think it's important to be humble. And I'm just so incredibly humble, man. Can't you realize that? Okay, now we'll get that billboard thing started soon. He's also a great amateur historian, in my opinion. I guess I'm an amateur. I did get paid for it for 22 and a half years for teaching history, but all right. Oh, yes, that's just add to his appeal. All right, he has standards and keeps to them during reviews. I've never seen him back down on an opinion that's unpopular. I have backed down before when I was wrong, like clearly wrong. Like somebody said, "No, you're wrong. You got the date wrong," or whatever. The ABV, and I'll be like, "Oh, I was thinking of something else. I'm sorry." I mean, you got to admit it then because you're wrong, right? You could be prideful. Some people are so prideful they'd be like trying to change, or they'll just outright lie. I've seen them on videos be like, "Oh no, I was talking about something else." Like, no, you weren't. You were talking about Coors Banquet. Who are you trying to fool, man? Okay, but anyway, professional. Oh yes, just the T-shirt screams that, right? Like, I got that T-shirt savoir faire going, but I can't help that. That's a gift. If you're professional and it's a gift, then you just don't talk about it too much all day long. I've seen reviews influenced by the brand or bought for free. Oh, I would hate to find my channel caught in that grip. Now, I've had people want me to share beers with them. Won't name names, but use your imagination. You probably get it right. And they say like, "Oh man, you're just hating on this beer. You hating on this beer." And I'm like, "No, you're getting defensive because you brought the product, and I'm telling you, it's not that good. I'm not hating on the product. I don't care about the product. I don't care about any beer. You make it, I'll drink it, I'll talk about it. But to say I care about it, like, oh, I'm invested in this beer. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm not." But Anchor went out of business. They got people on these Facebook groups like they about to have a nervous breakdown, like their family member died or something. Like, we have to save Anchor. I drank Anchor. I mean, I hadn't had it since 2009, but I love Anchor. Let's all get together and save it. Can't you all contribute $50? I'm like, I can't contribute 50 cents, but I mean, I like the Anchor. I drank it. It was good, but to be invested in it, no. And okay, it's gone. Oh well, it's gone. Well, bye. It's gone. Bye bye. Too bad. So sad. But it is unreal, some of this stuff. Nothing can save them. Nothing could save them. Not even their drag bingo weekly events. Yeah, true story. I read the website every Wednesday. I think it was drag bingo. Yeah, I really don't have any sympathy for them. Okay. Or when they have an opinion about a beer before they even have had it. Oh yeah, well that's a common problem. That's one of the main reasons I started this channel, because people were, everyone has different opinions. Doesn't make them less valid per se. People who latch onto commercial brands like that usually have other stuff going on what they are compensating for, says Joe Cobb. Yeah, no, it's really weird, huh? Like people do that. Reminds me of that song, "Build Me Up, Buttercup, Don't Let Me Down," says Tommy Carroll. I don't know about that song, but that sounds about right. Drag bingo would, oh, well, I don't know about children being allowed FD, but they probably would like to do that out at the schools in San Francisco. I guess they have to change the lyrics of that song. If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear flowers in your hair. Now it might be sure to wear, well, fill in the blank. So now, forget them, man. All right, I saw Anchor Porter Saturday. Stacks and stacks of six packs too, by the way. Stacks of them. Fresh too. Good dates. I'm not joking. It could have been the last batch they ever made. But I told my daughter, like, what's the point of doing the video? It's gone now. What? Say, oh, this is a great porter. Well, you too bad you can't get it. I said, I had it. I loved it. And then I saw the price in that beer store. It was like $12.99 for a 6-pack of Anchor Porter. I was like, I don't think so. I've had it before, and it's maybe $10.99 value. It's a great product, but beer is so overpriced anyway. So I was like, I'm not doing it. Let it go stale. And there's a perfect example, just stacks of the 6-packs. Why is it still there? I thought everybody had this sentimental love for Anchor. Why it should be sold out in 2 days, right? Like they're so crushed about it. Go buy it all up. Have a pity party with it. It's a good product. I mean, it's one of the best porters around, man, or was, until it was made a month ago and no more. Anchor should go out of business, in my opinion, as well. Well, Anchor did go out of business, actually. Went out of business abruptly about 2 weeks ago, like overnight. Everybody out of a job. Sadly, a lot of the new age political stuff happens in Canada. I'm glad that I got a healthy and responsible. No comment on that. All right, anyway, a lot of political stuff does happen in Canada, new age. But when your country is run by people that got a hammer and sickle on their chest, like if you tore their shirt open, like in the Omen when they had the number on their head, if you tore open their shirt in Canada, the leaders would have like a hammer and a sickle. And you'd be like, that's a tattoo. And then the doctor would say, that's no tattoo. You were born with that. They were born with that hammer and sickle. That's organic. You say, what? And when you looked in their bedroom as a child, who was sitting there with them? Oh, it's Pazuzu. It's Pazuzu. And all right. Okay, anyway, so which one do I prefer? Honestly, I prefer the sweet one. Okay, I've said that before. And some people would look down on that like, oh, you are a child. You want all this sugary stuff. It's not really being a child because a lot of people like sugary rum. So maybe it's not me who needs to grow up. But I do prefer that. I'm just going to tell you, I prefer it. Okay, I prefer it. Do I like the white, the dry rum? I do like it. It's clean. Goes down smooth. Great mixer. Doesn't have a whole lot of taste per se, but I mean, it does have some flavor. Just limited. I like it. I like the dry rum. Now, is the Palo Viejo better or worse than? It's not as good as Bacardi Superior, but then really, is any silver rum as good as Bacardi Superior? I've tried a lot of silver rums, clear rums. I think Bacardi Superior really is superior, but then after that, yeah, they're all kind of about the same on a good level. Now, don't take me wrong. I don't mean about the same because they're mediocre and they're not too good. I mean, they're all about the same because they're like really good and they're well made and they all taste nice. Now, the Caliber, that's a weird one because it tastes like strawberry shortcake. So that's an aberration, but it's still a good flavor, but it doesn't taste proper. It's like, there's no way it should taste like that. But still good, but in a bizarre way. But so that's the story on the silver rums. I have a couple of more coming out. Captain Morgan White. Yes, Captain Morgan White, the world famous Captain Morgan. And I have Don Q Silver, another pretty popular. I don't mean world. Well, maybe it is world popular, but I don't mean like super popular. I'm not going to say Don Q is super popular. It's only been sold in the United States since 2006. It was gone for like 20 years. Wasn't even sold in the United States for over 20 years. Couldn't get it. Now it's back for last 17 years. And but really, I bet you most of the liquor stores I go to around here, you will not see Don Q in the store. That's Louisiana. I can't speak for other states. But I mean, if I drive around and go around, keep looking, I'll see, oh, they got Don Q. Oh, look, they've got Don Q. Oh, they've got Don Q. But it's not going to be a whole lot of stores where, every store is going to have Bacardi. Pretty much every store is going to have Captain Morgan White. Some don't carry the white. They all carry Captain Morgan Spice. Every liquor store carry Captain Morgan Spice. You know that. And they all have Bacardi. There's no... If it doesn't have Bacardi rum, it's not in business. The only liquor stores that don't carry Bacardi are the ones that are out of business. So, That's going to end that the ones out of business. So yeah, so that's going to end that the those two. I love that Don Q Crystal. They call it Crystal. Crystal. They don't call it silver, white, or clear. Crystal. Well, it's good, but it's really good. I reviewed that on Mardi Gras Day one year. I was like, man, I do not feel like going to these parades, and I didn't. I did not go. I usually go, and then I can't stand being there. No, I'm not against parades. It's just like after you go to so many, you just can't stand looking at it. Like if you're a tourist and you're not from here, then I can see it's exciting because it's something different. But if you're from here, then you're like, ugh. So a lot of Louisiana people skip town on Mardi Gras, but it's fun. I mean, I'm not saying it's not fun, but then we off to tequila, and I'm very excited about tequila. I'm very excited about this tequila coming up. I'm very excited. All right, so let's look at the last comments, and we have to get off this thing. Wayne says, "Yeah, cheers. Did you ever drink gin?" Ron says, "Joe Cobb, yes, I have. I have reviewed some gin, Crystal Palace gin." Craig says, "Oh yes, Crystal Palace extra dry, right?" I saw that yesterday. Could have bought a bottle. Didn't do it. They had all different bottle sizes too. Crystal Palace. Okay. Yeah, it's not the best by any stretch of imagination, but it's not bad. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It exists. Okay, but it's all right. Uh, Taka is actually a pretty good gin. Taka is kind of a legendary gin because it's way better than it should be. Like, because it's real cheap. And it's kind of like you read the gin world. People are like, Taka, that stuff is $9 and it tastes like it's $49. Yes, that's an anomaly. I've had Seagram's gin, of course, Seagram's Distillers Reserve, the black label, black and gold label. Oh, that's one to buy right there. That's one to buy right there now. I mean, seriously, I'm not kidding around. That's one to buy. If you can find it. Got the smoked glass bottle, that basket weed bottle. That's awesome. And I've had the Clubhouse from Heaven Hill. It's actually pretty good. It tastes like lemon lime. It's like, did they add Sprite to this? It's like, it's not a premix, but it tastes like it. But those are good. And then I have so many that I bought my daughter. She likes gin, so I bought, and those were good. She lets me try them at her house, and those are all good. They're all good. They're all good. Doggone Mims. Mims is not bad. If your budget is not doing too well this month, and you are a gin person, Mims, it's okay, and it's been around for a long time. It's not like something new. So, but why are we talking about gin? Okay, press like, support our leader, our Führer, right? Okay, Beer Hound says, cheers, Ron. Cheers to you, Bill. Thanks for watching. Skaga says, I've tried every one of the Captain Morgans, and the original spice rum is the best. Just my opinion. It's my go-to. Well, it ain't number one just for advertising, is it? It's like literally the number one spice rum in the world, right? We all know this. Captain Morgan. And then you have people that'll come on there talking about it's all because of marketing. Are you kidding me? You're going to tell me that all these tens of millions of people every day sip on Captain Morgan spice rum because of some commercial they saw or a magazine ad or their friends pressured them? You're not going to tell me they like it? Come on, man. They like it. They used to say that about Bud Light all the time. Bud Light, nobody really likes it. It's all marketing. Oh, give me a break. I know people that their greatest joy every day was to get home and crack open a can of Bud Light. And I'm not kidding about that. They're like, listen to that sound. Oh, Bud Light. And they're just like so happy with their pint can. And I'm looking at them like, I'd probably have to go to a hospital for depression, but, just kidding. But they were just in love with that stuff. And that was like millions of people, until April 1st, at least of this year. I mean, all around the country. Oh, man, give me a break. There's no way they love that stuff just because of advertising. They liked it because of the flavor and the body and the consistency and the character of it. And it had all of that. Not my thing, but hey, that's your thing, baby. But and then some things changed back in April. But okay, so now they come home and they say Miller Lite. Oh, yeah, it's pretty great, which it is, but for light beer. Okay, so that's that story. Joe Cop says more of Camarade Ron. What does that mean, Camarade Ron? I don't understand your point. Okay, but anyway, so maybe I'm dense. Okay, but thanks for watching, and see y'all next